Hi, everybody. Good evening. Happy Monday. Yes. Groundhog Day Monday. That's right. 6 more weeks of winter. I don't think anybody is surprised about that. All right, we'll call to order at 6:31 and we'll do roll call. Board Member Valerie Reitholer. Here. Board Member Greg Zadonovich.
Happy to be here.
Board Member Andrea DeSilva. Here. Board Member Shirley Blair Fuller. Here. Board Member Max Stiglia.
Here.
And we have Mayor Paul Gamracker.
Here.
All right, and we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we will do start our public comment. If you would like to comment publicly, there's nobody in person right now, so we have one attendee online. If you would like to comment, please raise your virtual hand. We will promote you to panelist, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, we'll do panelists. Perfect. We're going to panelists now. How are you gonna mute yourself?
That's okay. You know, I can't see who's online. That's what I'm saying. I'm good.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Waller.
Oh, good evening.
How are you
How's
today?
everyone doing?
Good. Doing great.
Yes. Yes, I just have a question here, a couple of questions maybe. I still have some concern about the Stormwater Authority. And I know that there's some rates that have been set. And I'm also concerned about what future rates might be like. I'm just sort of curious about how did this board, how was it formed? How did it come into being? And who decided who would be on it and for how were the terms determined? I understand that there are no citizens on this board. I'm just wondering about how does this board come about, who formed it, and who decided who would serve on it and for what length of time.
You want to finish the rest of your questions, Mr. Waller? We'll try to answer them all when you're done.
That's it.
Oh. Thank you. And did you say his address? Yes. No. Can you please state your address?
Ralph Waller, 3825 Burnaby Drive,
Thank you.
Churchill.
We answered a few of those questions at the last stormwater meeting.
I can take it back. I mean, so the authority was formed by ordinance that was adopted by Borough Council. As far as who was appointed to what terms, my understanding was that the Management and Governance Committee had made recommendations to present to council to be included in that ordinance to be voted on. And that ultimately was approved by council and then submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of State as part of the Articles of Incorporation. So that ordinance listed all the current members of council and then had a section for the authority board members in the various terms. So I think that was adopted in December, special meeting in December? November. I'm sorry, November 20th, that's right, thank you. And so after council voted to adopt that ordinance, my office prepared the Articles of Incorporation and submitted those to the Department of State. Department of State ultimately approved those. And that created the formation of the board after we did some advertising, sort of post-adoption, to make sure that we were following the Municipal Authorities Act requirements. As to, why there's no residents on the board and could there be in the future, there could. That's going to be up to council. These are rolling, staggered 5-year terms. So there's a 1-year term, a 2-year term, up to a 5-year term. So the first person will be rolling off at the end of 2026. And that 1-year term will be reappointed or someone will be appointed for a 5-year term at the conclusion of that 1-year term. So whether or not it continues to be council members at that point, whether or not the majority of council decides to appoint residents, that will be up to council when that time comes next year, late next year.
I can speak on as far as ours, along with Denny, when we met in committee prior to, we had discussed what the ERUs are gonna be. And we came up with it being, Ann and I were just talking about it, $9.58 per month per resident, bringing the total to $115 and some change per year. That would be for the residential. And then we also had cost, Denny, can you help me here, for those that were the school and the gas station and these churches, Westinghouse.
Yeah, so any non-residential entity larger would have additional ERUs. It was just based on that one ERU or the amount of impervious of a typical home. However much space of impervious those other entities had, that's how many ERUs they paid. The ERU charge, I believe, is the same for both. So it's still the 9 and change per ERU. Is just depending on the size and how much impervious area each one of those entities has.
Thank you. Anybody? No problem.
Yeah, I think I answered all the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waller.
All right, I don't see anybody up online and nobody in person, so we will close public comment. And we will move on to our ordinary items to accept by motion.
And board member, motion to approve the meeting minutes from the January 12th, 2026 Board of Directors meeting.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? And it carries. Then moving on to our action, and Michelle, if you can take number 4, please.
Motion to adopt a resolution amending and restarting its stormwater free resolution to revise certain administrative and billing provisions.
Second?
Yep,
So as you're aware, we are utilizing the Turtle Creek Valley Cog for billing, in order to cooperate with them on some like billing time and administrative needs. There are some things in the resolution that had to be changed in regards to the 90-day billing period that they utilize, and that they're comfortable with in their system. So it previously said 30, so now it'll be 90 days. Also in regards to the penalty, there'll be a 10% penalty applied to the fee if there is a fee, if you pay later than the due date. Also, originally we had $40 for an insufficient fund, however, COG does 20, so we're going 20 to match that as well. And also this beginning of this year, they just increased their lien to $35 fee.
Okay.
So we did change that up from what we were previously told. But everything is those few changes.
Any other discussion?
I do have one. So on the 90 days, you're saying 90 days for the.
Yeah, from the day it's sent out, to what it's due.
For what is it versus the 30 days?
Correct.
So we're giving 3 months.
Yes.
3 months to pay for it.
Yeah. And we're invoicing yearly or monthly? We're
It'd be
invoicing
on an annual basis.
annual basis. Thank you.
So, yeah, no, there'll be 90 days. If there's any late fees required, it wouldn't hit till after that 90 day. And they're not.
Okay.
This might be more of like a logistical question. Let's say there's like partial payments. How do they handle those? Maybe can't be answered now, but just curious.
Yeah, I don't believe they accept partial payment.
Okay.
I think if that's something that we're interested in, I could have a further discussion with them. Just in regards to like their billing and.
Their system and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah, their system may not allow that, but I was just curious in case residents ask.
They wouldn't kick it back though, would they? Would they return the payment to the resident? Or we don't know that?
We don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, I don't know if they like process themselves or if they send it to a lockbox, and if it's a lockbox, then it gets back if it's not the full amount. So it's just,
An online payment system as well.
Yeah, oh, great, great.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was, almost seemed to be if it were sent in payments, then they would still be charged for
right.
you know, if they sent half of it, then half of it would go in.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like, let's say within the 90 days, if they make
Exactly.
like half of it in the beginning of the 90 days, and then maybe the other half in the other 90 days, or maybe they only made half of it, then would that 10% be on the total amount, or would it just be on the balance?
Yeah.
So I'm just,
Right.
I'm curious about those specific logistical things, and I'm sure people will be asking those questions.
Some people prefer to pay monthly, because they,
Right.
they said away $10 monthly, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so,
was in their head. We'll figure that out. Yeah, find out, that's.
thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would there be have people have this, if they paid in full right off the bat, would there be a savings in that?
kind of like the real estate taxes, like if they pay early, they get that 2%. Probably not. I'm
There is
assuming
not
no.
that option.
Yeah,
We decided not to do that, because by the time we got done, going through everybody and everybody applying for it,
it was not.
for $115 a year.
Hmm.
$2, you know.
Yeah, makes sense. Good question. Any others?
I'm sure it'll come up, so.
Yeah, it will, I'm
Yeah,
sure it will,
right,
absolutely,
right.
absolutely. Any other discussion? Right, all in favor? Approved, opposed? Carries. Moving on to number 5.
Madam Chairwoman, motion to approve the bills to be paid.
Bill? Bill. No, Bill.
A bill.
So Bill. Second, any discussion? And there's just one bill, it's correct.
Correct.
Yes. All right.
It was, for like Stormwater Authority Development, with Gateway.
Great. All right. All in favor? Opposed? And in 3. And then we'll go to number 3. Yeah. Not you, step up.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I guess, well, it says discussion.
Yeah,
so
we're
we-
just gonna discuss.
Okay, as far as discussion of projects, I think, council is aware, or has made us aware of a number of pressing projects that we'd like to work on, so.
I can try. to-
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great, and I guess one of my questions as part of our discussion is, I know we have that, grant that was for stormwater, so, how does that work coming to the authority now, and as far as funding it?
So, prior to the agenda, getting out, I did reach out to the state in regards to, the PA small water grant that we were awarded. Thank you, Senator Costa and Rep. Salisbury, for your help on that.
Yes, thank you.
We were awarded about $391,000 to go towards, stormwater projects. This was we applied prior to the authority being established. So the grantee on the grant application is Churchill Borough. I reached out to the state, didn't hear back from them until later today. In order to fulfill the grant, we have to complete those projects as the borough. So the borough would be completing those various stormwater projects, not the stormwater authority.
So we will not be discussing it here.
Correct.
For lack of better words.
Okay.
No, we have project discussion.
At the moment.
Oh, I wasn't sure if we did want to bring up that in the future, we may be looking at, what have been discussed before and in the cost estimate for a separate CCTV contract specifically for stormwater.
Okay.
Knowing that we have the CCTV contract, that we've done in the past for sanitary and storm through council, but we want to establish, CCTV. We've only televised about half of the known infrastructure within the municipality. There's not a set requirement to do so. That was one of the expectations with the authority. And then likewise, based on that CCTV, if there were other just general operation, maintenance, or repairs, excavation, it's not typical to line stormwater because You know, normally there's a different characteristic in terms of how you identify those repairs and rehabilitating those. But that would be a potential, is to have a separate excavation and or lining contract as well, specifically to stormwater. I don't know that we'd be prepared to proceed with that now or recommend to proceed, just something to be considering for in the future. And I guess just otherwise, general stormwater, it wouldn't be a project that you would necessarily, the stormwater authority would need to bid or advertise, but for your general MS4, your annual MS4 requirements, the expectation would be that those MS4 requirements would be met through stormwater authority now. Annual basis, just some of the things that are included there are, there's outfall testing that's required to be completed on an annual basis. You know, we've been able to do in order to make sure to maintain compliance, as well as other items within those minimum control measures.
Okay.
Again, just to kind of set the stage, nothing that requires action right now, but just bring them for the future.
Thank you.
Is there any opportunity with the projects for the authority to, I guess, do a memo, like a memo of understanding and work with the borough with selected contractors together?
No, I don't think so, because it's its own entity, its own funding, totally separate, so I think it would have to be done separately.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we could look at some sort of intergovernmental, arrangement, I guess, but ultimately, you know, I think it gets a little tricky from an accounting standpoint, you don't want to mix and match this funding stream.
Yeah.
So while it would be more convenient, because there is some overlap there, we recognize, and Dennis and I want to talk about this a little bit, I just don't think there's a clean enough way to do it.
It's best to keep it separate.
Yeah.
And that we, as the Stormwater Authority, as we're going through this, as I was speaking with someone this morning, we be able to differentiate between the two.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There is a difference, and
Yeah.
you know, particularly in the infrastructure council and the Stormwater Authority, it's separate, and I think it's best, that's my opinion, our recommendation that we leave it separate.
And we looked around and saw how some of the other similarly
Right.
situated communities like rural Baldwin, and I asked this solicitor there, and I said, how do you guys do it? They said they just keep everything totally separate. Dormont's the same way, totally separate, so I think that needs to be, even though it's a little bit of a pain budgetically, I think.
So moving forward then, as we're going for grant funding and that, the stormwater will go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
It's own.
Yeah, on its own, yeah. And I think just because, you know, right now it's all council members, that doesn't mean that it's gonna look like that in the future, right?
Exactly.
So that's always, you know, we wanna set it up the right way,
Exactly.
first to begin with.
One other project, or I guess, you know, a public education, I guess, project. I know that the rain barrel, you know, kind of symposium that the Climate Action Committee from, you know, the council held was well received. So I'd be curious, you know, as the authority kind of looking to do similar types of things in the future.
Yeah, we'll develop
Post
stuff,
those and,
yeah.
you know, do some public education on rain barrels and rain gardens and stormwater and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's a great idea. Thanks for bringing that up. All right, we'll move on to staff and support team reports, anything? I know you talked a little bit, yeah, like really talked about.
Covered my item, but if
Yeah.
there's any other questions.
Yeah, and then we also talked about the grant, finance officer,
Nothing to report,
great, keep it separate,
yes.
great. Solicitor,
No report, Madam Chair.
all right, well, I think that is it for the evening, let's adjourn our meeting.
So move.
Thank you.
Oh, wait,
Just one comment. As you know, our officers were involved in the shooting last week.
that's for council, it's for council.
That's what my.
Yes, it would.
That's for council.
She jumped in the council.
No, yeah, Stormwater.
We're in a learning process.